Showtime, baby. The PFL is back, and it's more than a fight. It's a season. Let's kick it.
I put you on your back, and I messed you up.
When it comes down to it, I'm going to win.
Claressa Shields successful in her MMA debut.
We get a championship rematch from season 1.
I knew this was gonna happen. You're not gonna be able to get away this time.
Let's go. I can wrestle with anybody in the world.
Fighting out of Dagestan, Russia.
With the flying knee. This man comes to fight.
Oh, it's gonna be fireworks.
Every person have a destiny.
Let go.
This is my destiny.
Finish for Antonio Carlos Jr. Ante Dillia punches his ticket. Bruno Cappelozza unloading again.
Doubt me now, but I'm gonna show you how great I am.
Welcome once again, fight fans, to Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Hollywood, Florida. We are 4 weeks away from the culmination of the toughest test in mixed martial arts. The PFL, the only MMA league with a true sports format of regular season, playoffs, and a championship. That means to get to our October 27th championship bout, our fighters will have to compete and complete 4 different fight camps, 4 times in a 6-month span for a chance at $1 million and a PFL belt. I'm Sean O'Connell, happy to welcome you to the World Championship Press Conference, where we get you set up for the biggest night in mixed martial arts. 6 titles, 6 $1 million prizes, and 6 beautiful gold and redesigned belts to be handed out in 6 different weight classes. And on top of that, a showcase bout featuring a 2-time Olympic boxing gold medalist who's looking to become a 2-sport star. But wait, there's more. The big boss is here. PFL CEO Pete Murray has a couple of big announcements for us. You're not going to want to miss those. That's all coming up tonight. Let's take a look at the reason we are here, our World Championship fight card. As I mentioned, 6 different belts in 6 different weight classes. At least 3 people on the card trying to become 2-time champions. Everyone else vying for an opportunity to take their place among MMA's greats. And there's a look at the current odds for those who are so inclined. Kayla Harrison, once again a prohibitive betting favorite. And Magomed Karamov is the only favorite fighting out of the blue corner coming up on October 27th. My broadcast partner, Kenny Florian, is here, and he's got a special guest with him. Kenny?
Sean, thanks so much. I'm here with ESPN reporter Brett Okamoto, and we'll be here giving you guys context, analysis, and an overview of what we see and hear. And Brett, you know, you've been to 1,000 of these things. What are you looking for here?
Oh, it's no secret, Kenny. I mean, I'm looking at the same things that the fans are looking at, right? I want to see how the shape that the fighters look like 4 weeks out from the fights. I want to hear what they're going to say to the media, and I want to hear what they're going to say to their opponents. I mean, as you know, during your career, sometimes you can get a mental edge at these press conferences, and there is an added storyline to it. I mean, I know the PFL, it's built on results, right? It's built on standings, it's built on playoffs, but there is a story behind each and every one of these fights, and you get to hear about that more today.
Yeah, that's right. We'll be paying close attention. Sean, back to you.
Thank you, Kenny. Speaking of mental edges, I think Brett probably has the mental edge over Kenny when it comes to the analysis here.
Wow.
Accurate.
Sorry, Kenny. But the real reason we are here is for these championship bouts. Again, this all happens on October 27th. We will open the night on ESPN Plus, an ESPN Plus exclusive world title in the lightweight division. Loic Rajabov, Aush Manfield. Oh, and by the way, Lillian Garcia is here to bring the fighters out.
That's right. Well, thank you, Sean, and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the PFL press conference. Anticipation is in the air, and excitement is definitely building for MMA's biggest night on October the 27th. And to go ahead and kick off this press conference, please welcome your first lightweight finalist, with big wins in the 2021 season against Anthony Pettis and Clay Collard, Fighting out of Porto Alegre, Brazil, here is Raush Manfio. Your second lightweight finalist, making his second straight PFL World Championship appearance. Fighting out of Dushanbe, Tajikistan, Loic Rajabov.
Those two formidable lightweights will open the title bout action, and from there we move to the light heavyweight division. And everybody knows that this is where the handsomest and most articulate MMA championships come from. Squaring off on October 27th for the 205-pound strap, Antonio Carlos Jr. and Martin Hamlin.
Your first light heavyweight finalist. He is a 7-time Norwegian wrestling champion with an 8-2 MMA record. Fighting out of Tønsberg, Norway, here is Martin Hamlet. Your second light heavyweight finalist. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt with 9 wins by submission. Fighting out of João Pessoa, Brazil, here is Antonio Carlos Jr.
From the light heavyweight division, we go to the featherweights. Movlid the Killer Haibulaev and Chris Wade.
Your first featherweight finalist. He is a 3-time PFL semifinalist, making his first championship appearance. Fighting out of Islip, New York, Chris Wade. Your second featherweight finalist. He is undefeated in 20 professional bouts. Fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, here is Movlid Haibulaev.
Our 4th world title fight on October 27th will take place in the heavyweight division. Bruno Capelozza and Ante Dilia.
Your first heavyweight finalist. 14 of his 19 career wins have come by stoppage. Fighting out of Zagreb, Croatia, here is Ante Dilia. Your second heavyweight finalist. All 13 of his career wins have come by knockout. Fighting out of Sao Paulo, Brazil, here is Bruno Capelozza.
After that heavyweight championship on October 27th, we'll take a brief interlude from the belts being given out to feature a showcase bout. 2 undefeated fighters starting out their pro mixed martial arts careers. And Claressa Shields is a 3-division boxing world champion, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist, and someone who wants to eventually add some PFL gold to that very extensive collection of combat sports accomplishments. Claressa Shields in a special event showcase women's lightweight bout against Abigail Montes.
In the blue corner, she has a 2-0 record so far in her professional MMA career. Fighting out of Guadalajara, Mexico, here is Abigail Montes. In the red corner, she is a 2-time Olympic boxing gold medalist and 3-time division boxing world champion. Coming off a knockout win in her MMA debut, fighting out of Flint, Michigan, here is Claressa Shields.
following that special showcase event will be a highly anticipated championship rematch. In 2018, Ray Cooper III and Magomed Karamov squared off for the Season 1 PFL World Championship. They will do it again on October 27th. Ray Cooper III and Magomed.
Your first welterweight finalist. He is a 2018 PFL welterweight champion, fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, Magomed Karamov.
Just a brief but relevant note, Ray Cooper III unable to join us here in Hollywood, Florida in person, but we do have him joining us remotely. So Brada is here with us.
Your second welterweight finalist, the only 3-time PFL championship finalist, and your 2019 PFL welterweight champion, fighting out of Pearl City, Hawaii, Ray Cooper III.
And that brings us to our main event of the evening. A 155-pound women's lightweight world championship bout between Kayla Harrison and Taylor Gardado.
Fight fans, this will be your final main event of the 2021 World Championship here in the PFL. 10 women started this season, and here in the lightweight division, here are the final 2 standing. Your first women's lightweight finalist. She is unbeaten in her first PFL season with 3 straight wins, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada, Taylor Gardado. Your second women's lightweight finalist. She is a 2-time Olympic gold medalist in judo and your 2019 PFL women's lightweight champion, fighting out of Middletown, Ohio, Kayla Harrison.
All right, all of the fighters here on stage, ready for some questions. But first, the $2 Million Club. Let's talk about it. It's an accomplishment to make it to a single PFL World Championship. Just to be here is an accomplishment. But the $2 Million Club is as exclusive as it gets. Lance the Party Palmer and Natan Schultz both took home back-to-back championships and $1 million prizes in 2018 and 2019. In our co-main event and our main event, 3 different fighters will be vying to join that same club. Kayla Harrison, Ray Cooper III, and Magomed Karamov all have a chance at a second $1 million prize. And speaking of that $1 million prize, the man who signs those checks, the big boss, Peter Murray, has some very important announcements. Pete, I'm going to leave this to you.
Great. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, Sean. Thanks again. It's great to finally be here, the 2021 PFL World Championship press conference. I want to thank everyone for joining around the globe. This season has been an overwhelming success for the league. We want to thank our fighters, of course, all the fighters in the league, and of course the fighters here on the stage, all of our partners, and most importantly, our fans who have continued to support us every event year-round. It really has been an exciting run so far in 2021. And, you know, I have to say, to start, I have to congratulate the 12 fighters on the stage behind me, alongside of me. These are the fighters who will be fighting in our championship right here at the Seminole Hard Rock in Hollywood, Florida on October 27th. These 12 incredible fighters earned their way to this championship. And that's what makes the PFL unique and special. They successfully battled through a regular season, a playoff, win in advance model, and proved they're the very best in the world. And they're up for the task later this month. And now each of them will be fighting for their respective weight class champion belt in the World Championship to be the champion in 2021, and the opportunity for all winners to take home $1 million. That's life-changing money. It's going to be a great event with 6 world title fights. And to add to that, as Sean had mentioned, we have the GOAT, Claressa Shields, making her return to the PFL cage. Claressa had a fantastic debut in MMA with the PFL earlier this year, and she'll be squaring off against Mexico's Abigail Montes in a special showcase fight, just to add to the action. And so before I turn it back to Sean and to the fighters, and that's what it's all about, I really just want to touch on some of the successes and the accomplishment of the PFL this past year, and provide context on that. As Sean had mentioned, we're going to announce a major new fighter signing. In addition, I'll give you a peek into some of our exciting plans for 2022. So on PFL 2021 successes, PFL is the fastest growing and most innovative league in all of sports. That's number one, established. 2, I'm proud of what we've accomplished, the PFL management team. We have a fantastic team. And we've established ourselves as the #2 MMA organization in the world, and we accomplished that in less than 3 years. This season, viewership on ESPN is up over 100%, and we have experienced massive fan base growth outside the U.S. and are now distributed to over 160 countries on premium sports platforms. So it really has been exciting. And what's fueling that growth is really 3 things. Number one, as Ray Sefo always says, it starts with great fighters and great fights. And we have that and then some. We have some of the top fighters in the world. We have 25+ countries represented on our roster, and we're very proud of our global position in the sport. 2, sports season format. It's unique in MMA, but not unique for other major sports. It really is fueling the growth and fans following the fighter journeys season long. And then number 3, we are relentless at the PFL about leading with innovation. Our proprietary technology, our smart cage technology, where it measures athlete performance, real-time, fight analytics, and all those things add up to a great product, a product for this generation sports fans. And MMA is the growth sport of this decade with the youngest fan base. So we're excited to deliver a product to that passionate fan base once again around the world. In 2021, our production team, leaders in their crafts, delivered game-changing coverage from returning the ref cam and giving fans access to the cage unlike ever before. And this year, we launched the Ghost Cam. It makes the cage disappear, gives points of view and angles of the sport and the action. Never done in the sport before, so we're pretty proud of that. 2, we brought back punch speed, strike speed. We measure strike speed in every fight on every fighter, but this year we added to it. We launched kick speed, and we'll be introducing a cadence of that in every event, in every fight going forward. Again, advancing the sport and reimagining the sport is the PFL's mission. And in addition to that, FPI, Fighter Performance Index. We launched our version of the NFL's QBR. We're adding context on the fighter's performance, on the action, and once again, it advances this great sport. And then finally, betting. We're excited about the explosion in betting, particularly here in the U.S., and our role in driving innovation there. We leverage our smart cage data to drive unique prop bet experiences with world-class partners like DraftKings and others. And now, on to the new fighter signings and the good stuff. PFL's president of fighter operations, Big Ray Sefo, and his team are developing and signing top MMA fighters year-round. And it's a privilege for me, on behalf of Ray and the team, to announce that the PFL has signed Julia Budd, a champion fighter, and one of the top women in the sports today. Julia, welcome to the PFL. Julia will make her debut on this very same card on October 27th in another showcase fight, and Julia will compete in next season's 2022 women's division. So more to come on that. And now, in speaking about talent, The PFL has a world-class ownership group, in my opinion, the best in all of sports. And in this past year, we bolstered our ownership group with new investors, including Wiz Khalifa. You know, Wiz, he's a cultural icon. He's an award-winning artist, and he has a few things to share right here today. So I'm going to throw it to Wiz right now. Wiz, take it away.
Yo, thanks for the love, Pete. I've been a fan of the PFL and MMA for a real long time, and it's been a real honor to join the league. And I'm super happy for the championship and ready to watch these fighters battle it out for the $1 million bag. So I got a huge surprise for you guys, everybody and the fans. On Wednesday, October 27th, PFL World Championship at the Seminole Hard Rock Casino in Hollywood, Florida. Me and the Taylor gang gonna be in the building. Not only to watch, but I'm gonna be taking the stage to perform for you guys, special, live. So all the fans in South Florida, make sure you guys come out and check me out. And all the fans who can't make it, make sure you tune in to ESPN Plus or ESPN2.
Thank you, Wiz. Looking forward to seeing you in 4 weeks from tonight, performing, which will add to the excitement with the fighters here on the stage and their competition. But to close, not only are we excited about the upcoming championship, we're excited about the 22 year and season ahead. We'll expand our season events, but in addition to that, we're going to launch new properties. The PFL will be launching in a new pay-per-view division and a lineup of events. We'll also launch the new PFL Challenger Series for pro fighters aspiring to get into the PFL season format. And finally, we're going to launch a one-of-a-kind MMA combine on a major scale to identify new talent from around the world. More to come on those details, but now it's really about these fighters on the stage and what they've earned up to this point and what they're preparing for. So I will turn it back to Sean O'Connell, and thank you again. Look forward to seeing you in a month. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Pete. Reminder, 2021 PFL World Championship broadcast coverage begins live on Wednesday, October 27th. It'll be on ESPN Plus at 4:30 Eastern with 2 PFL $1 Million Championship bouts. And we will continue on ESPN2 at 8 Eastern with the final 4 title bouts contested. All right, with all the announcements out of the way, we open the floor to the worldwide press to ask questions of our fighters. October 27th is only 4 weeks away. The floor is yours, media.
Drake Riggs here with South China Morning Post. Question for Martin, over to your left here. You know, you're taking on Antonio Carlos Jr. here, and a very talented submission artist, never been submitted. Of course, winning in the finals is a big deal, but how much nicer would it be, you know, if you could submit the guy?
I think, yeah, he's a great Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, and I'm a great wrestler. But at the end of the day, we need to mix it up. But yeah, it will be hard to submit him. Like, it will be hard to out-wrestle me. So yeah, we both need to mix it up to see some good actions in there.
And a question for Antonio to kind of go off that. Martin's openly said how he's willing to go to the ground with you. Just what do you make of his willingness to do that?
Yeah, he used to a grappler, you know, so I know he trains some jiu-jitsu as well, you know, but I've been like competing against the best grapplers in the world, you know. I'm a BJJ world champion, so I used to that. How he said, we need to mix it up, you know. That's what I've been doing in all my fights, you know. That's how I get here, you know. And that's it. If he's not afraid, it would be great to go to the ground, actually, you know. That's where I want to go.
Hi, this is Amy Kaplan from Fansided. My question's for Taylor. I'm wondering, everyone always says it takes one person, just one person and one thing that can beat a champion. What do you think you have, and how can you beat Kayla?
I mean, I made it here for a reason, and I've won my last 3 fights. I think when it comes down to it, I just need to be the best version of me that night.
Mark Ramundi, Zoom.
I've got a question for Hausch. I'm wondering if you feel like you have had a harder path to the championships just based off your last opponents, and if you think that gives you an edge.
Yes, I think all my fights were being in a battle. I think I really deserve to be here. I fought the best guys and just one more to be the champion. So it was a really hard way to come.
My question's for Chris Wade. After the last fight, you had a dominating win, and what are your emotions going into this fight? Know that now you're facing an elite opponent like yourself.
I mean, I also think that the last guy that I fought was an elite opponent. So we went right back to work, and we're doubling down on studying. We're doubling down on conditioning. We're getting ready for a 25-minute war. So nothing's really changed. It's a very similar fight style. You have two really, really high-level grapplers, so we're able to stay in somewhat of the same camp, which is great.
And then my next question is for Movlid. You were able to train with Habib. Training with him, did that change the way you think about MMA at all?
Мавлид, это вопрос вам. Вы занимались в лагере Хабиба Нурмагомедова. Это как-то изменило ваш подход и ваше мнение о ММА и как культуре в целом?
Конечно, изменило. Чему я на сегодняшний день достиг благодаря именно этой команде Хабиба, благодаря его отцу, благодаря моего покойного тренера Абдулманафа Нурмагомедова.
Yes, of course. It's a huge team. Everybody supports each other. Everything that I learned, everything that I achieved, I attribute to my upbringings. Our teacher was not with us anymore, Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, but we gotta continue his legacy, and just gotta carry it on.
Ariel Hawani via Zoom.
Hello. This question is, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks for doing this. This question is for Kayla Harrison. Kayla, you have been outspoken in the past about your, when you were in the Olympics, about your lack of interest in MMA, and now you've turned into one of the best MMA fighters. And then recently you were outspoken about your lack of interest in pro wrestling, and now it seems like you're one of the hottest prospects in pro wrestling. And so I'm wondering when we're going to see you officially make the transition to pro wrestling like you did in MMA.
Are you trolling me, Hilwani? Like what?
No.
Is this?
I mean, you killed it.
Listen,
on AEW.
I did Dan Lambert a favor. He begged me to go so he could have a little pop or whatever it's called in your little wrestling world. So obviously I did Dan the favor. I got on the jet. I went there. I said, all right, I'm here to kill people. I'm going to mess you up. All the fans booed me. I flipped them off. Got back on the jet, came home, got back to my real job, which is actual fighting for real in a cage.
Will you do it again? Because it seemed like you caught the bug.
I'll do it again if you're in the ring.
Okay, maybe I could be your manager. I mean, you don't need a mouthpiece, but that would be, I think, a very successful partnership. One last question for you. I saw a picture that Mike Brown tweeted recently of you and Amanda Nunes, and you've said in the past that you don't really train together. And so could you tell us the backstory behind that?
We do now. I think that this just happens to work out for her camp, and I'm always happy to help a teammate. I'm excited. Obviously, training with the best in the world is nothing but an honor and helps iron sharpens iron. So we've been working with Mike Brown twice a week now for a pretty consistent period of time, and we're literally just pulling away from the pack, the both of us.
Thank you. Good luck.
Thanks.
Mark Ramundi, Zoom.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Helwani took my question, but it's a good thing I do have another one. I wanted to ask Claressa, I know that you've been you're friends with Deontay Wilder. He fights Tyson Fury next week. It's a really huge fight. He kind of broke the internet with his costume last time around against Fury. And you're also someone who likes to, wear cool gear when you walk out in boxing. Why is that? Why is that important to you, the fashion statement to make in boxing?
I kind of just wear whatever I want to wear to the fight. Like, I like to have, like, some kind of fashion, and we have to get stripped down anyway into a bra and shorts. So usually I kind of come out. I came out in my Beyonce outfit, which is probably one of my best ones that I've done. But I think everybody has, like, their own person who they're turning into before the fight, their alter ego. And that's why we dress up and then kind of like dress down before the fight. But it's really whatever people want to do.
And then just one quick follow-up for Claressa. You've now been training, for a longer duration of time in MMA. How much better do you think you will be coming in this fight on October 27th compared to your debut?
I think I'll be a lot better than what I was my pro debut, because it was my first time getting inside the cage. I was a little nervous and just having to look out for so many different things. But the motto for last camp was just, win by any means necessary. And now the motto for this camp is, now that you know better, do better, right? So I learned from my last fight, and I'm better because of it. And we just going to continue to build off of my performance that I had then, and just be a better fighter overall, because there are, like, some pretty good girls out there in MMA, and I want to be at the top to where I can be in the tournament and not, keep doing showcases.
Thank you.
Darnell Giovanni with Low Kick MMA here. Kayla, question for you. The ESPN Women's Pound for Pound rankings came out, and you were on there for the first time. What was your initial feelings when seeing that, and do you feel like you should be ranked higher?
Yeah, someone sent that to me. I don't think that I have an initial reaction or a comment on it, really. My goal isn't to be on the ESPN pound for pound ranking as number 9. My goal is to be the absolute best possible version of myself. And right now, my very immediate goal is to be a PFL world champion, 2-time PFL world champion. So that's great. I'm very honored. Thank you, ESPN, for putting me on the pound for pound list, but I still got work to do.
And next question is for Claressa. Amanda Serrano got on a Jake Paul card, which was on Showtime. A lot of people watched that. Do you ever want to be on a Jake Paul card as well and maybe get that grand stage as she got? And, they also call her the GOAT. Do you feel like you have some kind of challenge there with Amanda?
Don't ever disrespect me. I would never fight on the undercard of Jake Paul. I'm a 3-time division world champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist in boxing. I would never fight on the undercard of Jake Paul. And I don't know what Amanda Serrano purse was. I think it was like $75,000, $100,000. I would never fight another boxing match for that much money, because I'm worth so much more. I'm $1 million fighter. And before I get on the undercard of a guy that's having a circus show, like, no disrespect to Tyron Woodley, no disrespect to Jake Paul, but I'm a real boxer. Like, I can beat up Jake Paul at the weight class I'm at right now. So no, I would never fight on the undercard of somebody who does not possess the skills or the accomplishments that I have.
Jonathan Ramlakan, 5 Reasons Sports. This one's from Magomed. You're coming into this fight on a 13-fight win streak. What do you feel has been the biggest factor during that win streak?
Магомед, вопрос вам. Вы уже одержали подряд 13 побед. 13 побед у вас к ряду. И как вы считаете, что было главным фактором, что помогло вам одержать такую линию побед и без поражений выйти опять в финал?
Алекс, можешь повторить вопрос?
Да, вопрос, то, что у вас 13 побед уже к ряду без проигрышей. И что вы считаете было главным фактором, что у вас не было ни одного поражения, вы опять сейчас смогли выйти в финал?
Добрый вечер. Я думаю, главным фактором это индивидуальный подход к каждому бою. Это хорошая команда, хороший подход к бою. Я думаю, вот это есть главное, что выигрываю без поражения в этой организации.
I believe the main factor is the proper approach and the good team. I have a good team to help me to prepare for each fight, and we take it individually, we break it down, and we have individual approach to every fight. And I think it's my camp and the strategy that's my key factor in that streak.
Thank you, Magomed, and good luck in your fight. And for Loic, you can learn a lot more from a loss than you can from a win. What did you take out of your loss in the 2019 finals that you can use to ensure a victory this time around?
Лоик, вопрос вам, Лоик, заключается в следующем. Говорят, что из поражений зачастую можно научиться больше, чем из побед. Вы то, что одержали поражение, к сожалению, в 2019 году, выйдя в финал, какие уроки вы из этого вынесли и что вы изменили в своем подходе в этом году?
Добрый вечер. Конечно, я предпочитаю больше побед, но, к сожалению, да, я проиграл в финале. Я много задумался, я посмотрел много раз бой, до сих пор смотрю этот бой. Я вижу, что где я ошибся больше всего там. Но, конечно, это наоборот толкает меня вперед, и я могу сказать, что я от этого много чего научился. Ну, хочу в этот раз показать. Тем более, этот мой соперник, он тоже является его спарринг-партнером и так далее. Я вот хочу показать, к сожалению, не могу сейчас реваншировать с Натаном, но могу показать его другу, на что я способен.
Yes, you're absolutely right. We can learn from both, from our wins and from our losses. That was a big disappointment for me back in 2019. I still keep rewatching that fight. I rewatched it many times, still do. A lot of lessons. I'm trying to work on every little thing that possibly can be improved. Also for me, it's a big thing that Raush is a friend of Nathan. And since I cannot do rematch, winning his friend and his training partner is very significant to me in a sense that I see two faces in one opponent.
Jim Barcelone, Zoom.
Yeah, thank you so much. Two for Kayla. First of all, Champ, I'm just curious, with Claressa and now Julia Budd, part of the PFL roster, just how important is it for PFL's growth to keep building this women's roster that you are carrying the mantle of, and just going from there and make it as a competitor too, just seeing that and wanting to get more fights and different competitors?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great signing. I was very excited when they signed Claressa. I'm super excited they've signed Julia. I look forward to seeing who else they're able to get their hands on for the future. I think if you build it, they will come, and now they're all starting to come, and I'm super proud to have been a part of this and to have created a weight class for big, strong women to come showcase their skills at, and I look forward to beating them all.
And lastly, for me, the other mention was about your appearance with AEW, and good job, by the way. And I know your focus, obviously, is PFL and MMA. And I know that smile. Dan Lambert must have been very happy getting you on the AEW show. But anyway, are there other projects, though, whether outside of all that you, because you do so much personally and professionally, I don't know how you do everything you do, but you do. Is there anything, a podcast or other foundation, or I don't know, I know that's a lot. Yeah, I know, Kayla, that's a lot every week.
Jim.
But is there anything else that's on your mind that you want to do or try?
Jim, I don't remember if I brushed my hair this morning, to be honest with you. Between getting the kids ready, training twice a day, press conferences, foundation, book, I'm in the process of working on the curriculum for the book. So hopefully the 7th grade health class systems will have a book about what you should do if someone close to you tries to take advantage of you here real soon. Between working on that, training for a title fight, raising 2 kids, a podcast is probably like number 57th thing on my list to do. It does sound cool, and I know I have a lot of great opinions and a lot of great advice, sage advice to give to people, but right now I'm focused 100% on my fight and my children and my legacy.
Thank you, champ.
Thanks, Jim.
Max Goen, Zoom.
This is Max Goen from the Goen Live podcast. My question is for Bruno. A lot at stake here at the finals. With everything on the line, what motivates you more, the $1 million or the championship belt?
Bruno, com essa final, o que te motiva mais? Tem muita coisa em jogo. É o milhão ou é o cinturão?
Bom, com certeza o milhão vai mudar minha vida, mas o que eu busco aí é o cinturão. Vou dar um grande orgulho para minha família. Eu acho que o cinturão. É uma escolha muito difícil, mas o cinturão.
Well, it's a tough choice. The $1 million is going to ultimately change my life and that of my family, but the belt's what I'll build up my legacy around. So I'll pick the belt.
Thanks so much and good luck.
Tom Taylor with Bleacher Report here. I have a question for Claressa Shields. Claressa, right here. You were a very hot commodity when you announced you were transitioning into MMA. I'm wondering, why was the PFL the organization you chose for this first chapter of your MMA career? Why is this the right home for you?
Well, me and my team had been thinking about MMA since I think 2018, and I was inspired because I wanted to fight Amanda Nunes in boxing. But she said boxing, I think, was boring and that if I came to her world, she would choke the shit out of me. So when she said that, it was like, oh, scary. But it was like, you know what? I'm badass enough to actually come to MMA and actually fight inside the cage and win and work my way up to the top and, hopefully get that matchup in a few years, So the PFL was maybe, I think, second or third MMA company that we spoke with, and I think just having the Zoom call with Peter Murray and with Dan and talking to everybody that it was really, I wanted them to understand that it doesn't matter who they put me inside the cage with, just give me the time that I need to get ready, right? So not being put in there at a disadvantage, and just knowing that up in 3 years I'll be able to compete with anybody. Right, but not in the first year or the first 2 years, but give me the time to train, to learn, and become a great MMA fighter, and then you can put me in there with whoever you want. But as of right now, I really want to just learn and build and build and build. So when it comes time to get in the ring or get in the cage with Kayla or the other girls who are in the PFL tournament, that I don't have any worries about. Me losing. I like to give myself a 100% win factor. So it's like getting ready. And they had the weight class 155. I'm a big girl. I fought 154, 160, and 160 boxing and won the Olympics twice at 165. So cutting down to 45 is, I don't think any network pays enough for me to go to 145. I'm just not built for that. But 155 was a great weight class. And I love how they're just fair. They give everybody a chance to work their way up and win $1 million, which boxing has never given me the opportunity to make $1 million with all my accomplishments. So that's why PFL was on my list to come here.
Thank you. And then a quick question for Abigail. Abigail, Claressa is obviously a very big name in combat sports, very accomplished champion. What was your reaction when you got the call to fight her, and why are you the woman to spoil this MMA journey she's on?
Abby, ¿qué fue tu reacción cuando escuchaste que ibas a pelear contra? Abby, ¿qué fue tu reacción cuando firmaste el contrato que ibas a pelear a Claressa Shields?
Para mí fue pues una gran noticia, ¿no? Mucha emoción porque fue cuando dije este es el momento de demostrarme a mí misma, demostrarle al mundo, a la gente, a las personas de lo que estoy hecha, de lo que puedo hacer.
When I found out, it was a moment of great excitement because it was finally my opportunity to be able to show the world what I'm made of. And there was a second part to the question.
Tom, what was the second part of the question?
Why is she the woman to beat Claressa Shields?
¿Y por qué tú eres la mujer que va a ganar contra Claressa Shields?
Una, porque jamás se ha enfrentado una mujer con estas ganas de sobresalir, ¿no? Con estas ganas y esta hambre que tengo yo a una mujer mexicana, ¿no? Que damos el corazón y que lo he estado buscando desde hace años y por eso digo, esta es mi oportunidad.
Hi, Jesse Holland, Vox Media. This question is
One
for-
second, I need to translate. So I'm going to be the woman to defeat Claressa Shields because I'm bringing lots of excitement, lots of excitement, and I'm going to be the first woman to defeat Claressa Shields in MMA.
Jesse Holland, Vox Media. This question is for Chris Wade. Chris, obviously you have a lot of experience for a lot of different promotions. Can you talk about the tournament format and how that's helped you or maybe hurt you a little bit now that you're locked into a schedule over a couple months? Does it help you knowing what your dates you're going to fight and who you have to fight as opposed to having a little more flexibility?
No, I actually love PFL's format. I grew up a wrestler, so I'm very used to knowing when a season starts, knowing when it's time to start training hard, and when my competitions will be. I'm not someone that particularly likes to just get random phone calls in the night. Hey, you want to fight in 2 weeks or 3 weeks? We got something for you. And I've been there and done that. It's a tough thing to do. You're always kind of on the hamster wheel trying to stay ready. The PFL does it so that you're very well prepared for when the time comes to get in the cage. As far as the tournament, the format, I've been on both sides of the 2 fights in 1 night situation. That is tough. I think everybody here will tell you how tough that is. But the season we have right now, I mean, this is ideal for me. I really, really enjoy it.
Tanai Shaw, Zoom.
Hey, this is Tanai from MMA Island. I have a question for Ante Dalia. Ante, how does it feel to be in the PFL finals and you're taking on an opponent that you've already faced this season? What do you make of Bruno Capoloza?
Ante, reci nam kako se osjećaš povodom toga što si upao u PFL finale i zato što radiš rematch sa Brunom.
Pa jako sam sretan što sam dobio priliku ponovo boriti se s Brunom i jedva čekam finale i revanš.
So I'm really happy about this opportunity to fight with Bruno for our rematch, and I'm really happy and I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you, Ante. Good luck.
Belgium.
Hello, William Brodel, Norwegian newspaper, and my question is for Martin Hamlet. How confident are you that you will beat Antonio and take home the $1 million?
You can never be too confident in this sport because it's no promises, but what I can do is be my best version of me. October 27, I will face Antonio, and good guy and a good opponent. And yeah, I've been working for this for my whole life, so it will be very good to show everybody and yeah, take it home to Norway.
Thank you.
Hello, I have a question for Claressa Shields. This is Don Wiggins from Flint, Michigan, and we're so proud of you. We've seen you go from Burston Fieldhouse, Olympic champion, boxing champion with many belts, now the PFL. What is your biggest challenge with moving to the next level, Claressa?
Hey, Don, what's up? That's family right there. I think my biggest challenge is just learning the arts enough to where I can put them together and make it all my own. Like having the mindset to switch, from boxing to kickboxing to jiu-jitsu to wrestling. Just knowing, I think, how to do all those things very well, have great defenses and great offenses to those, and kind of building off that. And I think that with time and experience, I can become a PFL champion first, and then we can think about other things. But right now, just the first thing is learning all those things and kind of put them together, which I have already. And I think I'm 10 times better than what I was my last fight already, and I'm ready to fight October 27th and just show everybody that, first fight, a little newbie, but now I'm a bit more comfortable and know that I can do more.
Curtis Calhoun, Zoom, please.
Hi, everyone. This is Curtis Calhoun with Low Kick MMA. My question is for Haush Manfio. Haush, you mentioned how at one point you thought about quitting MMA completely, and now you're in the PFL Championship. How does it feel being on this big stage after what you've been through?
Yeah, exactly 9.5 months ago, I called my manager and told, okay, Brian, don't try find more fights for me because I'm start giving some classes, and right now I'm at the finals. So he asked me for 1 more month, and in 2 weeks he put me in the PFL. So what can I tell you? It's a dream come true, and the guys I fought in the show, everything happened like better than I thought, and thank God I was prepared, and I'm more than happy and proud to be in the finals.
Appreciate the time. Thank you.
Chris, considering PFL's season format, your first time making it to the championship round, how does it feel to be fighting in the Super Bowl of MMA fighting?
This is amazing. I'm trying to keep my head on straight and stay focused because the job's not done. I want to be excited for this and to be content, but I know that there's a lot more work to do and that this is going to be a very tough fight. So very, very happy, but unfinished business.
My next question's for Magomed. Magomed, you've beaten Ray Cooper before. Both of you guys have grown since then. How do you prepare for a guy that you've fought and beaten before, but know is a really strong opponent?
Магомед, вопрос вам. Вы уже один раз дрались с Рэем Купером, вы знаете его стиль. Вы что-то с того времени наверняка изменили в своем подходе за последние пару лет. Он тоже наверняка сделал какие-то определенные выводы. Что вы думаете, разница в Рэе и в вас спустя 2 года? В чем заключается основная разница?
Да, я дрался с ним уже 3 года назад. За это время мы оба стали намного лучше. И я не думаю, что он намного разносторонний стал. Он почти такой же, но только чуть в борьбе прибавил. А я тоже все свои навыки поднял на высокий уровень. Я думаю, будет очень хороший бой.
Yes, indeed we had a good fight 3 years ago. I believe both of us did certain improvements. We learned our lessons. I think he worked on his wrestling a little bit. I see that happening, but I don't think he's as diverse of a fighter as myself. I think there are many levels that I can outperform him, and I'm totally looking forward to this rematch.
Last question for Loic. Loic, you were the runner-up in the 2019 finals. How did that fight motivate you now as you take on your next championship bout?
Лоик, следующий вопрос вам. Вы уже были в финале в 2019 году. Вы знаете, насколько важно, насколько давление оказывается. Что вы вывели для себя, какие выводы, уже будучи в финальном бою, что вы используете, подходя к этому финалу, то есть какие уроки вы вынесли для себя?
Да, конечно, я был один раз в финале, я понял, и я проиграл там, я понял, больше не хочу просто так быть в финале, я хочу, чтобы там оттуда выйти с поясом, да, потому что я уже был в этом положении, которое я вышел без пояса, это, конечно, неприятное такое ощущение, но в этот раз хочу, чтобы выйти оттуда с поясом. Я очень этого хочу. Я не знаю, как это объяснить вам. Я знаю, что мой соперник тоже готовится усердно, сильно, чтобы забрать себе этот пояс. Но вы не знаете, насколько я сильно это хочу. Я даже не знаю, могу прямо сейчас подраться, чтобы забрать этот пояс. Но, к сожалению, до этого остается еще 2 20 чем-то дней. Но я просто хочу оттуда выйти с поясом, и все. Вот. Я просто подумал, что то же самое, как выйти, как в прошлый раз без пояса, это не так уж. Но я не знаю, все, что суждено, так и будет. Но я бы с удовольствием взял бы этот пояс.
By no means I underestimate my opponent. There is a reason he's in the finals. Both of us gone a long way to be here, but there is a difference. That's, as you mentioned, yes, it's my second time in the finals. There is nothing new for me about that. My main priority is to walk away from that cage this time with something new, and for me that's going to be the belt. I'm not just wishing for it. I want you to understand, I'm itching here. I'm sitting. There are 20 days to go. It's too long for me. I'm ready to get up and fight right now. For me, this is the legacy. This is the most exciting thing, and there is no way I'm leaving this cage without the belt this time.
Hi, my first question is for Martin Hamlet. You mentioned fighting at your best in the upcoming fight on October 27th. I know you mentioned you were going to go home and visit your family. How did going home and visiting your family help, or how is it helping you prepare to be your best for the fight coming up?
Because we have to remember the PFL season, it's around 6 months. So to be the best and take home the $1 million and the championship, you have to win 4 fights, or you have to be in the final and win. And that's hard. You have to be dedicated, you have to stay healthy, injury-free, you have to do a lot of stuff in 6 months. And people forget how hard that is. And yeah, to have this mental break, it's good to see my kids and just relax between sessions, because all I do is wake up and leave my children and go for training, and then picking him up and playing and training again. So the whole day is just going around like this. So we're actually working 24/7 for this opportunity. So to be able to have a small break between sessions is very important for me.
And I want to ask a follow-up question on that. Was there a specific time or day that was just the highlight of that trip?
Can you repeat that?
Was there a specific highlight from that trip, like just a special memory?
I can't hear you.
Was there a specific memory from that trip that was really special to you?
Favorite memory from that trip? Was there something that was the best about the trip?
From what trip?
To see your kids.
Yeah, I was in the U.S. For 10 weeks in the regular season, and I tell you that to stay away from your family for 10 weeks and come home to a 2-year-old kid and a 4-year-old kid, and to see how they have grown for 10 weeks, it's crazy. I want to pay for that feeling, to see them again after 10 weeks, because that was the most crazy feeling I ever felt, to be able to see them after 10 weeks. So that's actually how much do you want to succeed in this sport. You have to sacrifice so much, and the family time and family life is very important, and it's hard to sacrifice. But we have to do it to make our dreams and be the best version.
Ronald E. Smith, Zoom.
This is Ronald E. Smith from Getting Real. My question is for Bruno. Bruno, it's been a long road for you to get to this moment, and you know that you've made so many sacrifices to get to this point. So just talking about right now, how does it feel for you to get to the finals, to get a chance to win the gold?
Bruno, caminho longo para você chegar até aqui, do começo da temporada até agora. Como é que você se sente nesse momento e o que vai significar para você, entendeu? Esse cinturão e o cheque?
Bom, fiquei 3 anos sem lutar. Graças a Deus tive essa oportunidade. Em 6 meses mudou minha vida. Estou muito feliz com o evento. Só tenho a agradecer por tudo. E tenho certeza que eu vou levar esse cinturão para minha casa.
Well, I was off for 3 years, and after that, the last 6 months changed my life completely. I couldn't be happier with the PFL and with how everything panned out, and I know for a fact I'm taking this belt back home.
And for Ray, you call yourself the best welterweight, and you've been saying that since the beginning of this tournament. Now that you're in the finals, what do you expect to do to get that win again?
I'm just gonna do the same thing I always do. He can say whatever he wants about me, but I'm gonna punch him in the face, and that's pretty much what is gonna happen.
Thank you.
Last question, Trevor Ritchie via Zoom, please. Okay, let's go to Hoshan, please.
Hello, Jose Montesino from Lucha Libre Online. I have a question for Avi. Sabemos que México ha sido uno de los sitios más importantes en cuanto a boxeo se refiere. Últimamente se ha abierto paso en el MMA. ¿Cuánto significa para ti y para otros talentos, ya sea hombres o mujeres, que haya estas oportunidades en compañías de MMA?
Para mí es algo pues que me llena de orgullo, ¿no? El poder abrir estas puertas a las demás personas que vienen, mujeres y hombres dentro del MMA. Así como dices, México es un poco difícil el llegar a estas plataformas, ¿no? Como lo es PFL, y y te digo, me da muchísimo orgullo el ser esa mexicana, ¿no? El que empiece a abrir esas puertas y representar a México de esta manera.
Anyone want to translate her answer?
Well, for me, it means the world to be here, representing the country of Mexico, and to have this big of a stage for myself and my career.
So I have another one for Kayla. We know how difficult and how important it is to be undefeated in MMA. How much mean for you to be undefeated, and how much pressure do you have for it?
Did you say what will it mean to me to remain undefeated?
Yeah, and how much pressure do you have for it? How much pressure?
Obviously, it's an amazing feat. It feels good to have a big shiny 0 next to my loss column. But I've been an athlete since I started judo when I was 6 years old. I've been on the Olympic track since I was 16 years old. I've seen the highest of highs and the lowest of lows, the thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. And remaining undefeated isn't as important to me as growing as a fighter and growing as a person. Obviously, I want to be the best. You look at the dominance of Khabib, that's what I want to emulate, that's what I'm chasing, that's how I want to be. But I know from experience that some of the biggest growth spurts, both personally and professionally in my life, came from the pain and agony of a loss. So I'm not afraid of it. I will embrace it. It will never stop me. I'm not going to go run and hide if I lose. And I don't think it's ever going to happen. I think that I work so hard, I train so hard, I push myself every day inside the gym. You know, I get that. I lose so many rounds of sparring you guys wouldn't believe if I put a little video camera in there and let you guys watch my sparring, and you guys could see me cry and scream and, you know, yell piss off to everyone. But that's why I believe I'm going to be the best. And no matter what comes, I'm going to embrace the journey and be ready for it.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, we're getting one more question from the Zoom chat for Ray Cooper III. Ray, you have asked for this fight and wanted this fight for almost 3 years. How does a rematch against Magomed Karamov feel different than all of your other PFL fights?
It doesn't feel different. It's just another fight. Finally, I get to get him back for the first season, and yeah, it's just gonna be a fight. I'm going there. I'm gonna punch a hole in his face, and retain my title.
All right. I think that's it for the questions. Thank you to all of the gathered media. Thank you for everyone who participated online. Still to come, we're going to clear the stage. We're going to bring the fighters back out for some face-offs. That's what we want to see, right? That's what we're here for. But Kenny and Brett have been sitting over there stewing. So let's get over to Kenny Florian and Brett Okamoto for some thoughts on what we just heard.
Sean, thank you very much. A lot to talk about there. But I think the two people that stood out the most for me was probably Claressa Shields and Kayla Harrison. And for anyone who was maybe thinking that Kayla Harrison wasn't going to work hard or wasn't going to have that same kind of focus because she's overconfident, they're probably wrong. I didn't sense that from Kayla at all.
No, you read my mind. Those were the two that stood out to me as well. And I can't even really probably articulate how impressed I am with both of them. Yeah. They just understand where they are in life and in the sport. They're obviously very talented individuals. I think that really just shows the natural talent that they have, but also just the training and the competition that they've been through. It's just different when you've been through the Olympics, when you've competed at that high of a level. They're just so very comfortable with everything. And it's really interesting to hear them both at the two different parts of their careers. Like Claressa is saying, hey, I'm going to be at the top someday. I ain't there yet, but you're going to see improvements that I made since my last fight. And then with Kayla, this is really, what did she say from the very first one? It's a coronation, right? It's a coronation of her. It's not a tournament, and she's treated everything like that this year. It's very, very impressive.
And for Claressa, she was talking about the Jake Paul event that just took place against Tyron Woodley, and she said, "Don't disrespect me." What do you think about her thoughts?
That's what I mean. It's just two women who really know their worth. That they're very comfortable in their own skin. They're very comfortable where they are in this sport, And so I loved that answer from Claressa. She said, "Hey, no disrespect to Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. They're out there. They're making money. They're on Showtime. Hey, all is good. But you're not going to take me and my 2 medals and everything that I put into the sport of boxing and put me on the undercard of a jet. You must be out of your mind." I loved that answer from Claressa.
Yeah, and for someone who's early in their mixed martial arts career, you've seen this, other people, they're just getting started. I was really impressed with the fact that she was balancing kind of staying within reality, but also being confident in who she is as a fighter. Is that rare when you see other fighters in that same position?
No, I just, what's impressive to me is that, Claressa and then also Kayla, I know that those are the two we're talking about a lot, but they're just coming in with so much expectation, man. Yeah. I mean, you know how this sport is. A lot of times you're making a debut somewhere in a bar somewhere, like you probably did, Kenny, where there's no one really watching you, no one thinking like, oh, you got to do this, you got to do that. Right. These two women are coming in and they're thinking, hey, you going to fight Amanda Nunes someday? Like, those are the types of expectations these two are coming in. And so for them to be handling it in the way that they are and the platform that they have, I mean, Kayla's headlining this card with all of the championship fights on it. I'm going to be a broken record, but I'm just impressed. I could sit here and listen to both of them talk this whole time.
Yeah, definitely. And for Magomed Karamov and Ray Cooper, they're obviously set to partake in a rematch here. Ray Cooper, again, this is angry Ray Cooper, which is my favorite kind of Ray Cooper. You didn't have too much to say. He just seems like he wants to really go out there and hurt Magomed Karamov.
What's there to say, man? I mean, he lost to the guy, right? And so he needs to come back and, they put up that graphic earlier where these two guys are trying to become, one of the few people who have won 2 tournaments. And right now they're tied. Him and Magomed, they're both tied. They've each won 1. But Magomed has that tiebreaker of beating Ray back in 2018. So, I've just loved what I've seen from Ray, though. Ray has done what you want Ray to do, and that is he's grown from that loss. I mean, he looks like he's matured. You even heard Magomed say that it looks like he's worked on his wrestling. Now, Magomed said, it's not going to be enough. I see a lot of areas that I can exploit. And you saw Ray kind of shrug, and we'll see. We'll see in 4 weeks. And it's no surprise to me that is a high billing on this card because when I look at these matchups, great matchups top to bottom, but that one in particular is like, man, what is going to happen in that fight? And to your point, Ray Cooper just seems very, very emotionally invested in it.
Yeah, definitely. Ante Delia is going to be taking on Bruno Capoloza. This is another rematch, of course. Obviously, it ended early the first time around. Bruno Capoloza got the early knockout. did you see anything from both those men? Maybe some overconfidence from Bruno Capoloza, or maybe an Ante Delia who maybe a lot like Ray Cooper wants to go out there and get vengeance there?
Ante Delia looked like a man who hadn't forgot that he lost a fight to this man earlier this year. He didn't have a whole lot to say. He reminds me a little bit of his mentor, Mirko Krokop. Yeah. Kenny, I don't even remember if you were ever sitting at those press conferences with Mirko, but he sat there with sunglasses on and a hood up, and you didn't even know if he was listening. That to me kind of struck me as Ante, but he went into the first fight against Bruno as a favorite. I had kind of even forgotten that. And Bruno was close to like a 4-1 betting underdog, and then the fight lasted 46 seconds. You don't forget about something like that when you're a competitor like him. So I think you saw his body language at this press conference of like, let's move everybody out of the way and let me fight this man again, because that loss does not sit well with me.
Yeah, absolutely. And two other guys who seemed extremely focused out there, Chris Wade and Movlid Khabalaev. Khabalaev didn't get a whole lot of questions, but he seems extremely motivated. He's someone that you should not sleep on. He's a tremendous fighter, and Chris Wade just as focused as ever.
The one question that he did get, you could see how emotional he got though in Movlid, and that was speaking about the late Abdulmanap Nurmagomedov, and we've seen that obviously in Khabib's performance, but then Islam Makhachev as well. You've seen that over a lot of different guys as they've competed since the passing of Abdulmanap, and he's dedicated this entire season to that man, and that's a very, very real thing. You can tell it's a real emotional thing for him, and so far those guys have performed very, very well with wanting to honor their late coach. So I'm expecting a very good performance from him. And Chris Wade, man, again, use the word impressive again. I mean, this guy has been close before. He's been around for a very long time. Just listening to him, he oozed professionalism to me at this press conference. That, hey, I want to enjoy this. I want to sit around and bask in it, but the job's not done. This is going to be a very, very, very difficult fight for me in 4 weeks, and that seemed very genuine to me.
All right, let's talk about the lightweight championship. Loic Rajabov taking on Haush Manfio, a newcomer to the PFL. Manfio still seems very focused. He says he still has work to do, and Loic has been here before. Obviously, wasn't able to win the belt last time out. What was your take on those guys?
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about that a little bit. There are a couple fights like that where these guys, just talked about with Chris Wade, that they've been there but haven't quite done it. And Loic was able to put that into words. That he's I've been here, and it hurts when you don't win at all. And I'm not going to let anybody, take that away from me this time. He was actually one who said, I'm ready to fight right now, because it means that much to me. And Manfio has just been that guy, right? He's been that guy this year to go out and beat Clay Collard, go out and beat Anthony Pettis, go out and beat those guys who are overshadowing him a little bit. So I think for him to be fighting the guy, he's going to be an underdog in this fight, and to be fighting a guy who's been there, was able to just articulate how important it is to him. Maybe he's had a magical season. We'll see if he can see it through.
Yeah. All right. Well, fans, now is your time to get your PFL fan token on the Socios.com app. As a PFL fan token holder, you can vote on decisions that impact PFL fighters and enter to win different rewards and experiences. For the first time ever, PFL fan token holders will have the chance to vote on the 2021 season MVP, the only professional sports league where fans get to vote on which champion fighter should receive the MVP title and a $5,000 fighter bonus. Head to the Socios.com app now to find out how to get your fan token and be part of the first ever MVP poll, which will launch after the championship on October 27th. Britt, thanks so much for being here. Really excited for these fights, man, and great to be a part of it with you. And right now, we're going to throw it back to Lillian Garcia.
And now, please welcome the president of Fighter Operations, Mr. Ray Sefo.
Well, when Ray Sefo, if Ray Sefo is on the stage, that means it's time for some fighter face-offs. We open our championship night in the lightweight world championship with these two men.
Fighting out of the blue corner, Haush Manfio. Fighting out of the red corner, Loic Rajaba.
And our second PFL World Championship bout exclusively on ESPN Plus, the light heavyweight PFL Championship.
Fighting out of the blue corner, Martin Hamlet. Fighting out of the red corner, Antonio Carlos Jr.
From there, the action moves to 145 pounds and a featherweight world championship bout.
Fighting out of the blue corner, Chris Wade. Fighting out of the red corner, Mavlid Haibulayev.
The action continues, moving from the featherweights to the heavyweights. A PFL title contested at 265 pounds.
Fighting out of the blue corner, Ante Delia. Fighting out of the red corner, Bruno Capeluzza.
And up next will be a featured women's lightweight bout at 155 pounds.
Fighting out of the blue corner, Abigail Montes. And fighting out of the red corner, Claressa Shields.
And from that showcase bout back to World Championship contention, this one a rematch in the welterweight division.
Fighting out of the blue corner, Magomed Karamov. And fighting out of the red corner, Ray Cooper III.
And finally, the main event of the evening, a women's lightweight world championship.
Fighting out of the blue corner, Taylor Gordano. And fighting out of the red corner, Kayla Harrison.
All right, mark the date on your calendars. It's Wednesday, October 27th, beginning at 4:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Plus, and continuing on ESPN2 and ESPN Plus at 8 Eastern. The 2021 PFL World Championship, the biggest night in mixed martial arts. 6 title fights in one night, each for $1 million and a PFL belt. For Kenny Florian, Brett Okamoto, and Lillian Garcia, I am Sean O'Connell. So long from South Florida and the Seminole Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Hollywood. We will see you in 4 weeks. Good night.